Buddy Brian here from quantlabs.net. Today is October 3rd. We're going to take a look at Apple, the latest report. Deep analysis I can go all I want with this thing, but we're going to take a look at an event that took place last week. Markets are up. Here's the stock on Apple for today, and it's got a little bit of recovery going on. That's fine. So let's look for the news of Apple's sell recommendation. So that came in. Let's see if I can look for it on good old. So I'll do B of A downgrade. So I want to show you what I'm going to show you here. This is really important to know. So Apple shares dip on rare. So that was 3 days ago. Let's see when that happened. So that was what day of the week last week? 3 days ago. I want to know exactly when it took place. September 29th, okay? So that came out September 29th. In around there. So let's take a look at that news. This is one of the charts that I'm able to develop. And I don't know exactly what day this is, but here's what I will tell you. Let me just move this. Me have to move. Come on. Okay, there we go. I'll go over here. All right, so what you're looking at here is last week. Now, part of me is, you can see there's this insider selling, which would typically happen in a down market. These are executives at Apple. Goes back up, come May, June, July, and just in around here, 2-3 days prior, we've got big drops here of selling activity from the insiders. Right here, insider trading activity and share price. So the question is, on the 29th, was there insider trading happening before this report from the Bank of America came out? And if my answer is yes, there is your answer right there. I'm not saying this happened, but if it did, this is the elite, okay? The elite having the ability to have privileged information and dump shares, build their wealth, and get news before the rest of us. And I don't know if this is true or not, but you tell me. And then look at it two days later, just big tank. That was probably on Friday, after the news came out. And look at the price of Apple since. So ask yourself what's going on. All right, so let's go further into the report here that I built out come Friday or come today, right here. Okay, so back I go to my useless spot. There we go. All right, so am I looking at Apple? Now, usually I wouldn't do this, but I'm just doing this to test responses from people. So here's the fundamental. Not sure if this is accurate or not. Let me just see if this is. Yeah, it is Apple. Okay. So in here, we've got the high and low, the mean and all that. Information that I usually look for to give me signs that I don't like. This is what I look for in Seeking Alpha articles. I'm just looking for anything that's glaring. Usually I like to see the 4 or 5 years of EBITDA, because this is where you see things roll out. Target price on the 130. I think they've blown through that. We'll find out in a minute. Free cash flow. I mean, that's a lot of money, man. 83 billion. This is like a license to print money in this company. Look at that. Total cash 48 billion. But funny, they got a debt of 119. That's to reduce tax. Just probably you know that already. 52-week change. It's not too bad compared to other companies. We have here GMT off milliseconds, regardless. Enterprise value at 2.2 trillion. Wow. Split factor 4-to-1. Earnings quarterly growth, so it's just down slightly. It's pretty good. I mean, there's better place to get better performance. You can look at all these other financial ratios, which matter. I'm not going to do that here. This is going to be just a quick video. I don't want to put people to sleep. But this is a heavily traded stock as well, as you can imagine. So here's where it gets interesting. The ratios. You can see it's declined from 2020 quick ratio to 0.9. Cash ratio is the same. It's pretty good that their days of sales outstanding, so they've reduced their inventory. But here, their inventory is getting higher last year. Now I can imagine this year might be a lot higher, but what they've been doing is they've been shifting out a lot of their production for Apple from China, I think really out of Taiwan to India, especially for the iPhone, because of the potential takeover by China in Taiwan. So that puts big companies, especially Western companies, at a threat where China could do whatever they feel like as part of the main supply, so the supply chain. So looking for anything else. Again, I'm not an expert in any of this stuff. Maybe one day I might be. I'm kind of getting into fundamental. I have to admit that. But their turnover of assets, so on and so forth, important things. But I'm sure this is important. I'm really not, at this point, really worried about that. This is what I would say people are more concerned with is dividend, because, well, the economy's slowing down. The markets are definitely slowing down. It's negative. Not very many places to go. So dividend's important. But you can see here it's not as strong. It's actually declining for Apple. So that's the sort of thing I look for, because majority of people that are going into retirement age are already there. Apple's not quite the same company as it used to be. So right here, gross profit growth, that's pretty good that it's back up at 0.47. So they had a good year last year. That's last year. What's this year? I don't know. I don't think it'd be too good. Now, remember I said about the EBT growth is the earnings before interest and tax. Last year was a good year. I guess maybe because of its pandemic related, I don't know. But you can see it's not, I mean, it's growing. That's the thing that I look for. Operating income growth as well. These are the sort of things I'm after. Net income growth, again, last year was good. This year, what matters is this year. So if we were looking at this January, February, that's fine. And continuing along here, operating cash flow growth. Look at this, negative. That's probably 19, and so on. But it's recovered. 10-year revenue growth. Blah blah blah. You know, it's these numbers matter, because you're not going to get these in the top line. 5-year gone negative. That's 5-year shareholder equity growth per share. Ta-da! So what this is saying is that I guess after these stock splits, that may have impacted it, but they're negative. So the question is, as a shareholder, do you want to have, over the last 2 years, stock that's not growing? I mean, that's what I'm seeing here with these negative growth. Now, again, I'm no expert here, but that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm interpreting. I could be wrong. But if comment away. I don't get offended. Yeah, I do. I'm a big wussy. Let's see what else we've got here. Performance per month. What do you want me to tell you there? performance on the quarterly down. Yeah, so this is a really bad, not bad year for Apple, but this last week, last few days, it's rare to have this happen. But I think the problem with them, they just think that their poopy don't smell, and they get off the ball. They haven't really innovated. I think just innovating a camera is going to really carry them moving forward. I mean, I know they have a set of glasses coming out for AR. That's going to be something big. The big one will be the car, whenever that comes out. They've been talking that for a while now. So, look at this. Off the 52-week high, 22% is down. So it may have value if it's going to flatline. No. But looking at the price, I mean, it is recovering, so that is a good thing. Because it means that people really have a lot of faith in Apple. So that alone may be enough to go, yeah, let's put money into Apple, because other people put money into Apple. Earnings per share down 7.7%, and so on. But you can see the fundamental, how it's important. These are the important ones as well. The SMA, simple moving averages, on the 20, 50, and 200, down 7%, down to 11%. Yeah. So we've got here stock prices overall grown. That's really good. Number of shares have actually gone down. Market capital, this is really impressive. Look at that. So back in 2017, it was worth $870 billion. Now it's gone 3 times market cap size to 2.4 trillion. Unreal. Now this is sustainability. Again, underperforming. Woo, where do they fail? Peer account. Wow. I didn't expect that. ESG performance underperforming. Wow. For Apple. Okay. Here's the world famous target price. Around, I don't know what this target price is on, between 175 and 200, down now 150, so it's been off for a while. Yearly estimates. Now this is again forward looking. This is what I like to see. 392, so it's going to continue growing to a $500 billion company by 2026. Wow. The dividend, well, 2024 might be good, obviously. Everything's all about timing. You don't want to hang on to an asset if it's going to be an underperformer against something else. So using this sort of thing might be good depending upon where you're at in life. So if you're about dividend, you may find better companies that don't have great stock performance but have great dividend. That sort of thing. As I said, I'm getting into this. So the other good thing I like to see is the net profit adjusted is gone from 100 to 132. I think that's in billions probably. Cash flow from investing negative. That tells me I think that they're purposely keeping high debt to keep the tax low because they're wonderful kind of people. Again, cash flow per share, net debt, it's gone up, I guess. Well, it's added more. The negative's higher. Let's leave it that way. I want to start to sound smart here. But the research and development's almost not quite doubled. But yet, they're great at researching cameras. Retail expenditure, come down. Okay, so here is the interesting thing. So this is, again, Kathy Wood, the Arc Trades. This is from Archangel, I believe. And you can see the amount of selling here, especially the amount. And the fund. and so on. So that's a pretty important way to watch how people are trading. So I've added that just for interest sakes. And look at the amount of selling too. That's a lot. And that was obviously last few days. Don't know if there's a date in there. There should be a date. But at the end of the day, it's all sell. Sell, 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 sell. And then I don't know how far back this goes. But something of interest. Okay, technical analysis. This should be in another section. But you got the average price of the mean. Let me just widen this table here. Come on. Okay. There we go. Come on. Oh, that makes me feel better. All right, so yeah, so you can see the vast difference between the pricing here on the variance, on the max, and so on. Again, here's some recommendations for Apple. More strong buy. This is the problem with the analysts. They think they know everything, and look at that. They say strong buy, and look what happens on Friday. Thursday, Friday last week, and it's just buy, and boom, boom, boom. So you have a bunch of them buying, strong buy, you'd have lost money right there if you depended on them, and a bunch on the sell. So good for them, I guess. Here's the technicals with the Fibonacci. Look at that big drop there. I'm sure Apple will cover from this. Might take, well, as an example from this last dip here, this probably took, I'm going to estimate, about 2 months. So it's got this other big decline here. Now the question is if there will be a decline in the global markets. Here you can see that the prices broke through in the lower range on the Bollinger. So that if you believe it'll come back, it's a great buying opportunity. I think Apple will come back. Yeah, and then you can see here as well on the MACD line, and the signaling doesn't look it, but once you see, if you ran this every day and you see that to come around, that's your entry point. That's why I like MACD. I have a better strategy that works much better combined. I'm only putting this one up because it's easy to put together. I don't have to go back to the MotoWave, because MotoWave, I got a strategy that's kind of like this. Reversing MACD with RSI, it's excellent. It's probably one of the best confirmation for entry points on when to buy, and it works on any time frame. Yeah, baby. Okay, so this one's RSI. You can see there it's just getting killed on the oversold, which is probably true, but depends on the market. But usually Apple will be one of the first ones to take you out. Some of the big tech that are doing well that I saw was Apple and Microsoft. Now, this is where it gets interesting, is the AI. You can see it's more leaning towards the distribution, towards the around the 140 where it's at now. But look at the varying predictions on where it thinks it's going to go. More on the upside, and this was just generated today, just now. So there's still a lot of upswing that it sees, but that doesn't really take into into consideration like economic, which is what we're going through right now. So usually AI will not pick that up. You can see here, this is the other interesting one based upon regression. Yeah, it will be a slow grind up. I'm not sure. I have to watch wherever else is performing, because it is the beginning of the month. I'll be able to run ETFs to see how they do, the different sectors. Now the dark pool, you can see here, this is the interesting, over half are shorting on the price. So because of that, And as I said, if you ran this daily, you'd probably be able to get an indicator of what's going on before it actually happens. I do believe, as I said, with that chart I showed, this one, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's insider trading going on there. And then here, when you look at who's selling what, you can do that. The bad people, some may sold because they got insider information. But of course, nothing gets done there because they're too important and well paid, and we'll have high paying lawyers to cover them. That's pretty well it. Wow. I could do this every day on stocks, even at your own request if I wanted. But because I'm doing this for Seeking Alpha, hey, if you got a Seeking Alpha request, I'll do it on one condition. It's got to have at least 150,000 followers for me to do it. But if you want, hey, I might consider it. So let me show you next steps for you. All right, so we've talked about all the fun stuff. Now, if you're brand new, just join the get a book, a digital book, a PDF, Trading Secrets. That I've got some tools that will help, spreadsheet and some other goodies. Also, got here the analytics. If this kind of analysis is in demand and people want it, I'll gladly put it out there and put it behind my paywall. I'll do it here, and you'd only pay $47 a month outside all the additional stuff I do. But I do think the U.S. equities is interesting to watch. I'm also having techniques that I might be able to use to see what might be moving today and do an analysis on that and why. And that's just doing this technique with Python stuff, let alone what I could do with the trading platform called MotiWave. Make sure you get that course, okay? All right, we'll leave it at that. Again, this is over at quantlabs.net. This price will definitely be going up over the next probably week. It just depends on the response to these videos. And the response to the Seeking Alpha articles I've put out as well. Hey, I've had 700 people look at the Tyson Food one last week. Not bad. That's only got 30,000 followers. So 32,000 or something. So who knows what happens when I put one out like Coke at 300,000 followers. All right, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.